was waiting on you. Hello, fellow boarders.
Hello, fellow boarders and fantasy league mates.
Welcome to the playoffs.
Dun, 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 dun. Well, Jerry, we had an exciting finish to the season last year.
We did. It was so exciting that we both ended up on buys. Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. Yeah, congratulations on your bye this week.
Thank you, and as to you as well.
Thank you. How's it feel to not have to worry about playing for a week?
It's awesome. I'm just looking ahead to next week. I'm trying to make pickups based on week 16 matchups. It feels amazing. I love it.
Yeah. Well,
Always a good
congratulations.
feeling.
Yeah, always a good feeling. So good luck down there in the consolation bracket.
Thank you, sir. You as well.
Yeah, thanks.
God, I need Bryson here. When's the last time you were in the consolation bracket?
I
2011?
don't remember. Yeah, no, September 08, I think.
Oh, right when the league started. Wow.
Yeah, last desktop too. So, but I figured why don't we start by looking at the final standings, and I just want to highlight how close it was with you and RO for the sixth seed, since RO and Nels had to play their game, and couldn't just have a tie. 2 points here kept you out of the playoffs.
Absolutely. It's brutal. I feel like just bringing this up is like you just got dumped, and now like all my buddies want to go out to the bar where my ex always goes to, like, and then I see her there, like, making out with like 5 different dudes. That's kind of what these are the same feelings being brought up.
Man,
My team was so close. There's so many moves.
Yeah. But RO traded away Jonathan Taylor. So just think about how much different this might look had he not done that. He may have been not even in this quagmire of 7-7 teams if he had not made that deal. Because I think he's outproduced Hill by a fair margin.
It just kind of goes to show you that even if you win your matchups, like every point matters on the week.
Right.
Like your guy drops a pass in the end zone, and you're like, oh well, I'm. That could obviously back down the road as it did, as 4 teams were 7-7, 2 got in, 2 didn't. So even give props to Scale, winning his last 2 games, just didn't have the points. I think he had a really bad middle stretch there where he didn't have very many points, maybe won a few games. But if you click on my schedule, I can't remember. I think I won 4 out of my last 5 to get to 7-7. So I thought I was out of it once Henry went down, and I mean I didn't have Ridley either, so I didn't have Henry or Ridley since week like 7 or 8. Anyway,
oh yeah, you did win 4 out of 5.
Won 4 out of 5. That Bryson one was crazy. The West one was crazy. That's where Lockett outscored Metcalf because he put up nothing. My team did not show up against Scales, and then Taylor, that was a pretty easy victory. You can see I lost 2 matchups by 2 points too. Those were crucial. Jack that week, if I had just played, it was 1 receiver. If I just switched out a receiver, would have won.
Yeah. Man. Well, then look, you won 2 games by 3 points, 2 games in a row here. Jerry, did I lose you?
You play the. I mean, honestly, neither of us really deserved to win because I may have cut it. I was saying, really, on that first week, neither team really deserved to win. Both of those are pretty shitty scores, but nonetheless, it makes a huge difference in the final standings. So, yeah, I'm out. RO's in. We'll talk about it in a little bit, but it looks like he's got a great matchup against CB, the 3 seed. So, if you get into the playoffs, anything can happen. Win and then see what happens.
Exactly. I will say, looking at the final standings, I know back at the beginning of the season, I think I ranked Mod up near the top, and he just had a lot of injuries this year. Made it too many to overcome. And then Jack, his points for is higher than
both of us, even
two
Nels.
playoff teams, but he led the league in points against by a pretty sizable margin. So tough year for Jack. So other than
And
that,
Wes was up there at 4-0, and then you see he ended the season on a 5-game losing streak.
Yep.
That's tough. He thought he was in, and Bryson kind of gave him that, oh, you're definitely in. No one's ever really blown it with a 4-0 lead, and then poor Wes does.
Now someone has.
Yeah.
Now someone has.
I mean,
Well,
that's half the game. Half the game is having your guys stay healthy. Mays lost his first round pick. I lost my first round pick. My second round pick didn't even want to play on my team.
He lost
I feel
Russell
like
Wilson for stretches.
Yeah, he lost Russ as his quarterback.
AJ Brown, who he drafted, was hurt for a while. He spent $25 to pick up Jared Cook. So Waller has been hurt. McCaffrey, we all know. I mean, yeah, it's been a rough year in this league for Mr. Mod DeWote. But good job on managing him to 99-point week this past week, Jerry. That's in and of itself a pretty big thing.
Yeah, I'm honestly kind of glad Bryson blew him out, because we were debating between playing Cooks or Julio, who just got activated. And I was like, just play Julio. AJ Brown's out. Titans I think they were playing someone shitty. I was like, they could blow him out, and Julio could have a big game. But it didn't matter who he played, so that was a relief. I guess we got to give credit now that we talked about the worst team. I mean, look at Shmee's team. It's so hard in fantasy football to go 12-2. That's insanely impressive.
Well, he, kind of lucked out that someone traded him a good quarterback for pennies on the dollar. And,
yeah, what dumbass did that?
Yeah, and but I mean, he drafted well, and Cooper, especially with Cooper Kupp, and so I think key for him is going to be how healthy is Eckler down the stretch, and can Kupp and Stafford. I mean, do they double dip, or if they have an off game, is that going to hold him back? So we'll see, but he's definitely probably got the team to beat.
As someone who constantly gets buys in this league, do you just hate this week? Because it's got to tear at you if they score like 160 points. Like, that's got to eat at you. And then the next week, you're like, oh, I really could have used that. But it could go the other way, and your team only scores 70, and you're like, thank God.
Yeah, on the bye weeks, the key is. Oh, are you there, Jerry?
Yeah.
On the bye weeks, you just kind of watch and hope your guys don't get injured. That's the real thing, because if someone gets injured, then it's like, well, darn it, why did I don't even have a chance to play them? So that was like last night I was just watching, and every time they get close to Mahomes, I'd be like, don't touch him, get rid of the ball, like don't get hurt. So anyways, that's what part of the stress when you have a bye week is just hoping, especially with running backs, hoping that they don't have someone tackles them awkwardly.
Yep.
So
you got to be happy with Mahomes. I know you're on a bye week, so we won't really discuss your team, but with Mahomes like throwing for 400 yards against a team that was like fourth in passing defense, and I feel like the Chiefs are getting red hot when everyone was ready to press the button in the middle of the season.
Yeah, Mahomes has looked off for long stretches this season. His timing's been off. He has not gone through progressions. He's it looks like he'll decide pre-snap where he's going to go with the ball, and if it's not there, then it turns into kind of backyard football, and he just tries to scramble around, and he's trying too hard, basically, to do too much.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the game last night, the drive in overtime and the drive at the end of the fourth quarter, those were the first 2 drives since early this season where Mahomes actually looked like Mahomes the last few years, where he went through his progressions, he trusted his protection, he'd step up in the pocket, had great pocket awareness, and then made good throws. And as soon as I saw, he made one throw pretty early in that drive in the fourth quarter, and I saw the look on his face, and I just knew. I was like, all right, he's back. That's him. So I feel good. I'm hopeful that with a few extra days to rest up, that Tyreek can kind of get healthy. I know he was having some heel issues in the game last night, and Kelsey can get rested up because they got a big game against Pittsburgh next week.
Awesome. I think you'll have zero trouble with Pittsburgh, but I would put that second TD, Kelsey's second TD, more on him. It looked like Kelsey just sat in coverage and Mahomes hit him on a 10-yard throw, but then Kelsey just took off. I've never seen a tight end move that fast.
Yeah,
it's unreal.
It's like he's playing receiver out there. So, and it's also one of the best Kelsey has looked all season too. He's looked a tad slow the rest of the year, and so I don't know what he ate for breakfast yesterday, but he needs to eat that every day for the rest of the season. So, well, should we go on to the matchups?
Potential, playoff teams. Let's look at the playoff matchups.
All right. So, coming up here to the championship bracket, I guess we'll start with the 3 versus 6 matchup. So RO and CB, or as I saw Nels say, CB's hospital squad.
Pretty funny. We are gonna coin that.
Yeah, but it's not far off. Earlier this week, CB had, I think, 5 guys questionable, a guy out, and a guy on COVID, and so I know Mike Williams ended up playing. He could have had a really big game, but was targeted 9 times, but ended up only having 49 receiving yards. Josh Allen is banged up, and so if he doesn't run the ball very much, I think that takes away a lot of his upside. I don't know how you don't go with RO here. RO is kind of walking into a great matchup.
Yep. Before Thursday night, I would have said it was pretty close. I think Elliott is starting to feel better, but who knows how he'll really produce. But Mike Williams could have had a big game against kind of a weaker Chiefs defense. If you look at the Chiefs defense on the whole season, it's not the greatest numbers, but really the last 7 games they've been playing amazing. So it's kind of, the numbers are kind of skewed, but they held Mike Davis in check. You need James Conner healthy. He's got one of the juiciest matchups on the board against Detroit. Their run defense is awful. I think Gordon and Jay Williams, Javante, whatever, they absolutely tore up Detroit last week. He's got Penny with Collins out and Penny for 100 yards last week, although the Rams front is a lot better than who they played last week. So really, CB's team isn't awful that what he's put together with Hopkins out, but just with last night a 20-point lead from Hill, and then the rest of RO's team still to go with his best combo of Brady, Godwin, and Gronk on Sunday Night Football, I think is just going to be too much. I think the favorite's going to win here, even if CB puts a defense in. You got to go RO squad. And I think he can start looking toward next week.
Yeah, anything can happen, but I think CB's been living a charmed life with Connor. I don't know that Connor is going to play this week. We'll see what the practice. I don't know. Let's see if the practice reports come out for today. He expects James Conner to play and Chase Edmonds. So
look at these points, double-digit points in all of his last 6 games, 7 games.
Yep. But
he doesn't get a ton of yards, but he gets the end zone carries, and I think against Detroit in that sieve of a defense. That's huge to keep CB alive. But I think we both agree that Tom Brady's the best fantasy quarterback. He's at home against New Orleans. Hopefully that little, weather thing there it's not bad weather, because I think Brady's going to want to tear up the Saints because of what they did to him last year.
Yep. Well, I think New Orleans won that matchup earlier this season too, and what was probably Brady's worst performance this year. So we'll see. Lattimore's probably going to get stuck on Evans, so Godwin can have a huge game, especially with AB still being out, and then they've got Gronk, of course. No, I will say RO has got some Montgomery. I don't know if he had a non-COVID illness, so he should be fine. Eli Mitchell, I don't know if he's been practicing since he's in concussion protocol. So that might be something to watch, and then the health of Darrell Henderson as well. So RO's projection could come down, and this could end up being a closer game depending on, a couple of personnel decisions. But overall, like you said, I think the Brady, Godwin, Gronk combo can be too much to overcome. I mean, unless Zeke just has a huge game and Josh Allen looks great against Carolina, but I see this Buffalo Carolina game being like a 15-9 field goal fest.
Just think if RO had Kelsey, how far ahead he'd be. Start that 2 tight end set with Gronk and Kelsey, probably 2 of the best tight ends in the league he'd have on his team. Man, he would have been sitting so pretty. But we'll see. I still pick RO, but like you said, it may be closer, especially if those running backs are out. RO is going to have to scramble, because I have one of the backup San Francisco running backs. He might have to go pick up Hasty or move Michelle into the running back spot and plug someone into his flex. AJ Green wouldn't be bad against Detroit with Hopkins out. So
yeah, AJ Green is probably I would imagine he'll end up playing for him in some form or fashion.
Capacity.
Yeah. So and CB's got a defense down here too with a juicy matchup against Atlanta. So I'm still going to pick RO, but I think this is overstating the percent chance that CB has.
I don't know if it was strategy, but it may have worked out where CB made the playoffs and I put in for that San Francisco defense and I had like $0, and I think he had the most money of everybody. And, this late in the season, it could be crucial, like get those big pickups. And so maybe it is good to save your money to the playoff.
Yeah.
Not that a defense is going to win them a game, but if I'm trying to think if someone was out, like Eckler was out, you could spend a ton on Justin Jackson or something like that.
Yeah, or
could be crucial, but
if you like say a quarterback gets hurt, like if whoever is playing the Chiefs, if Mahomes got hurt, you could go pick up the defense playing the Chiefs, and not have to, or something like that. So it'd be having some dollars left over can be helpful just to make sure that you get to make those choices.
I love the FAB system. I'm so glad we went to it. Adds so much more strategy to all this.
Yeah. I agree. So consensus here is RO, but I think it'll be, and he's got a 20-point lead now. I think CB's going to be playing catch up. But I also think it'll be a little closer than maybe Yahoo is projecting. So again, it just depends on personnel over here on RO's side. Let's go to the other matchup.
The 4v5.
The 4v5. Interesting matchup here. So Nels got off to a mediocre start last night. I think that if, they were projected initially for 20 points and he got 19. So he's kind of sticking with his Yahoo projection. So I don't know that it'll have a huge impact one way or another, the game last night. There's just, Bryson has a lot of guys questionable. Like, Thielen may play. If he does play, how limited is he going to be? He's got a great matchup if he does. He's got both Green Bay running backs in there right now, which, it might be a bad thing if they both play, because then it caps the upside for both of them. Whereas just if they just stick with one, then he could fill in a spot, like a bench spot with, well, maybe he doesn't have any good other options, but maybe he keeps it like that. But
Right.
anyways.
This one is so juicy. I mean, just off
Yeah.
the bat, you're definitely kind of leaning Bryson's way with Murray against Detroit. I mean, Murray can run it and throw it, but Detroit's run defense is so bad that maybe they just run Edmonds and Connor all day, and Murray doesn't get that many points. That's tough. Pittman, I don't think Pittman's really done much the last couple weeks. I think Indianapolis found their identity of running the ball. I think they tried different things at the beginning of the season, and Wentz got healthy, and they just said, "Hey, we're going to run the ball." Wentz mainly just kind of is there for play action and can throw it down the field a little bit, but their identity is Taylor. Like you said, Thielen, that would be massive if he doesn't play. And then, like you said, I mean, I think Jones and Dillon is a great floor because both of them play and both of them get carries, caps upside, and that kind of stinks when you're trying to win a playoff matchup. Mixed against Denver, I guess Denver does kind of have a good run defense, even though they lost Von Miller. It's kind of counterintuitive, so that could be a tough matchup for Mixon at Denver. He picked up Houston's defense. Maybe, I don't know. That seems really risky to me. I know Jacksonville's terrible, but I think honestly, I've been kind of reading that Trevor Lawrence and the offense has kind of found new light that they fired Meyer. So who knows? They could. The Houston secondary is still really bad, and so is their run defense. Green Bay has actually had a very good defense, and they've been missing very people this season. They've been missing, and then what's that guy's name? Zaire Alexander. They've been missing.
Yeah.
And Lamar probably isn't going to play. So against Huntley, that could be the difference there, getting some points from your defense at the end. Bryson's got a good team, but Burrow, I don't know. Devontae Adams is going to go absolutely bonkers in Baltimore. Like that, he's going to easily clear that 14. Patterson, I just read they're trying to limit his snaps, so that kind of stinks for Nels. I don't really know why they would limit his snaps because they're still fighting for a playoff spot. I'd get it if they're 4-9, but they still do have a chance to make the playoffs. So maybe they're just saying that for fodder. I don't really know. I for Nels's sake, and I have Patterson in another league, I hope they give him a ton of snaps, but huge advantage there. Kittle is probably going to destroy that 11 projection. He's been absolutely on fire. Him and Garoppolo have had great timing, and he's using him a ton. So Kittle has Bryson has a huge upside in tight end, but then Evans. This is such a juicy matchup. I don't know which way to go. I'm going to let you pick first.
All right. Well, let me. I agree with what you said with Kyler Murray. He's got a smash matchup against Detroit. I don't think Pittman's going to be limited against New England. I don't know what's going to happen with the Green Bay running backs. They've got a good matchup against Baltimore. Mixon has a real tough matchup against Denver. Denver, I read today, they've given up one rushing touchdown since week 8.
Jeez. Yeah, that's really not what Bryson wants to hear. Yeah.
Kittle's got a good matchup against Atlanta, and I think they're just managing his practice reps. So, and like you said, the Houston D, that's a real risky play, although Jacksonville offense has not been very good. And I think James Robinson may be out. So,
Hyde's definitely out. I haven't seen anything about Robinson.
I feel like he's had the questionable tag for a few weeks. Maybe he's playing. I don't know, to be honest. But with all that said, I feel like it's Kyler Kittle, and then whichever one of the Green Bay running backs ends up getting a touchdown or two. But over on the other side, I don't see a lot. I mean, I could see Schultz. I think he had a bad game last week. Maybe he could bounce back this week. But Evans is going to have Marshawn Lattimore on him, I believe. And I don't think he had a big game when they played New Orleans last time. They had 10 points. So, yeah.
Only 2 catches.
Yeah, for 48 yards and a touchdown. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how they utilize him and how New Orleans plays them on defense. What's the weather supposed to be like in Baltimore? 50% chance of precipitation.
That's not going to scare Aaron Rodgers and Adams.
No, but and Baltimore's secondary is banged up.
Yeah, they lost Humphrey for the season. Like they're going to be a sieve from here on out.
Yeah. So I don't like Burrow's matchup at Denver. But Jerry, this could go either way. I'm gonna go though with Bryson because I think Kyler and Kittle is too much.
Yep.
For I think they're gonna each have big games, and I just I don't know. I don't see Burrow having a huge game against Denver.
I lean Bryson as well.
Yeah, I think this could be really close. I mean, I won't be surprised if either team wins. And I'm actually, because I know we picked RO in the other matchup. I'm kind of expecting if RO wins, since we do reseeding, I'm guaranteed to play the winner of this matchup.
I was going to ask, this league does reseed?
Yes, they do. So if the 6th seed wins, Shmi is guaranteed to play the 6th seed. Right. And so I'll get whoever wins this game. I mean,
no, not necessarily. If CB comes back and wins, you'd get the 3.
That's exactly. So, but I think we're both.
Because we both. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
assuming for a minute that CB wins. So, anyways, I say that. I mean, I don't know. I feel like Bryson's team overall has more. It's got more upside and just as much depth as Nelson's does. But Nelson's found a way to survive all year. So I'm going to go Bryson, but I think it's going to be real close.
I'm going as well. I mean, this is crazy. I'm excited about this fantasy matchup, and I'm neither one of these is my team. So this I bet both these guys are going to be going nuts Sunday. Does anyone have anyone Monday? He could have Thielen on Monday, so that's going to be fun.
Well, see, that's a wrinkle to think about because if Thielen's not ruled out until Monday,
yeah,
he could get. I don't know that KJ Osborne's available. He could
unless Mays dropped him. Yeah, Bryce. I mean, throwing the Saturday matchups into it and a Monday. I mean, you're gonna have to be a pretty good man to win in the playoffs here going forward. Looked like he was sidelined on Thursday. That's not good. I mean, the same thing I was doing with Mays' team last week is he wanted to play Edmonds. I was like, let's hold off until we hear something, and we didn't hear anything. So I was like, hey, don't play him. It's not worth the risk. And then Edmonds ended up not playing. So Bryson's going to have to make one of those calls, especially if it's Friday. That's not going to be a good sign.
Right.
Aaron Jones didn't play. Damn.
Yeah.
I think Nellis is going to like that we both picked Bryson. So I think on paper, everyone healthy, how you have it now, everyone plays. I would lean Bryson. If people are out on Bryson's team, because it looks like he's dealing with much more injuries than Nellis, I think Nellis would take it then. He had a hell of a second half. Didn't Keenan Allen? He did everything in the second half, and same with CEH, right?
Clyde didn't really do anything in the game, but
That
yeah,
2-point helped him. Otherwise, he just would have been at 4 points.
In Mahomes on that 2-point conversion, passed up 2 open receivers too, and to throw the pass to Clyde. But Allen did catch his touchdown, I think, in the fourth quarter. Let's assume for a second that Jones and Thielen don't play. If we assume that, he's got Cortland Sutton, who he could sub in but he's going to the waiver wire to find guys if that's the case, right? I mean, he'll move AJ Dillon here,
Right.
but he'll have to go pick up a flex player.
Right.
Man, I won't be surprised to see Kyler put up a 40 spot and Kittle put up a 20 spot this week with their matchups.
Yeah, there's 60 right there.
And then if Jones is out, Dillon, I could see, I mean, he's got a good matchup against Baltimore. I could see him putting up, 15 to 20 points. But I may flip to Nels. This matchup is so thin, like it's going to be one on the margins, and it's going to come down, I think, to who Bryson has
chances
available.
The most.
Or the least. So, I mean, and to your point, the Houston defense against Jacksonville could backfire big time. Jacksonville might actually play a more open game, and whereas Green Bay's got their defense has a good matchup against Baltimore as the backup quarterback. I mean, that's what I'm talking about with leaving a little bit of money. You can kind of pick and choose matchups later in the season with defenses if you've got a little money left and no one can outbid you.
Is Lamar already ruled out?
Let's go look real quick at Jack's team. Who is Lamar? Wes? So let's go look here. Lamar is questionable. Although, I mean, a questionable Lamar, that's not good, right? So
he has a chance. It's not good news.
So, I mean, that's probably best case. Maybe Lamar starts and then has his ankle aggravated, and then or he starts and his injuries affect his mobility. Either way, I think he's got good matchups. The Green Bay defense is a good matchup either way. So,
yeah, they've been sneakily underrated. More probably better as a real unit than fantasy unit, but still, like sometimes you can utilize the real unit as long as they don't give up a lot of points. You're not going to lose a ton of points. It's kind of a good floor to start with.
Yeah, man,
I'm excited.
If Denver can limit Mixon and Arizona gets so far ahead of Detroit that they just run the ball, I see Nels winning. But otherwise, I see Bryson winning a real close one.
Yep.
So, all right, man. Well, playoffs. I guess we'll be back next week to look at 2 more playoff matchups, won't we?
I'm sure you're going to be busy this week. I don't know. We'll have to figure out a time, or I'll maybe just do it on my own, if you don't mind.
Yeah, we can do whatever we need. So,
just because it's the playoffs, it was just regular season, probably skip it. But man, the next 2 matchups are going to be awesome.
Yeah, agreed.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, others, and until next time, thank you, CT, for driving and your time. And I thought it was a good discussion, and this is kind of exciting. My team's not even in it, and I'm excited to see who wins. So
yeah. We'll see. It'll be a good, exciting week of playoff football, and good luck to everyone this week, except my bye opponent. Not to them.
My bye opponent can suck it too.
Yeah. So, all right, man.
All right.
Adios.
See ya.